Let's do it.
Do you want to just give us a little brief overview?
Absolutely. So this is a 2024 Quartermaster.
Yeah.
And it is, the thing that I like about it, I would describe it as like a heavy-duty midsize, which is something that just isn't available in the U.S. market.
Yeah.
In some markets, you can get something that's called a Hilux, and it is a heavy-duty midsize.
Yeah.
But we don't have that vehicle in the U.S. So this is a vehicle with 1,825 pounds of payload. It's a little bit larger than most midsize, but smaller than a full size. And you got a straight 6 with a turbo and a 5.5-foot bed, and it's a great platform for me for the U.S. because I like to haul motorcycles. I want to be able to go to Home Depot and get some lumber or whatever. So I like having a pickup truck. And in its current configuration, I have a Scout Yoho pop-up in the back. It's a composite camper, and it looks pretty great as a
It does, actually. It looks awesome. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Scott. We'll
let's go check it out.
Look. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks
everybody. See you in a few minutes. Hi, everybody. We're down in the workshop with Scott and his Quartermaster. So we're just going to have a quick wander around. Following on from his pinnacle vehicle statement, what makes a pinnacle vehicle, we're going to dig into some of the detail of the Quartermaster and see exactly what he means by that, and also some of the modifications we've got on this one.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look. Let's have a look.
Well, one of the things that we're always looking for in a pinnacle vehicle is durability and reliability. So everything that's on the Quartermaster, these are all proven components from proven component manufacturers. Something like a Tremec transfer case. Tremec makes components for heavy-duty vehicles around the world. Prop shafts from Dana, Carrero axles, this heavy-duty axles that are being made for four-wheel drive tractors. So this is a
combine harvesters,
exactly, heavy-duty vehicles. So even if we were to come and take a look, for example, at the tie rod in the front, the tie rod in the front here is the size of something that you would see on an F450. So this is a really heavy-duty tie rod, really heavy-duty drag link. The axles themselves are very robust. And right now, this is another good example of Grenadier and Ineos in general being very mindful of reliability. So I'm bringing the vehicle in for what's a 12,000 mile differential fluid swap. So we're swapping out the diff fluid. I took a look at the fluid and it was a real nice honey color, very small amount of metal particles on the mag trap. So the differentials are holding up to all of this extra weight and the larger tires. So those are the things that we're looking for in some of the durability of the front end. We've also got a proper metal skid plate. So a lot of manufacturers will have something that looks like this, but it's actually made out of plastic. So this is a proper metal skid plate. What are some of the other things that we're looking for here? We have 2 gross vehicle weight rated recovery points. So these are attached to the frame. That's why they're in alignment with the frame. And a lot of times you'll use these recovery points even during winching for bridling. So you'll bridle across both recovery points, take the winch line out to a pulley block, and then back to the bridling of these recovery
Spreading the load, right?
Spreading the load across both of the frame rails. This particular unit, since it's a Trial Master, this one has the optional Grenadier winch. It's made by Red Winch in the UK, which is known for making high quality winches. And this is the winch itself actually is a great example of a company that's very thoughtful. So normally you don't actually want a whole lot of line on the winch. If you need a lot of line out to do a recovery, you do it with extensions because you want to get the winch line down to the first or second layer on the drum so you can maximize the pulling power.
Mechanical advantage, right?
That's exactly right. Because the rated capacity of the winch is on the first layer on the drum. So because Grenadier has Red Winch make this specifically for the Grenadier, it only has about 60 feet of line, and it's all synthetic line, which is a lot safer for operating in the field, and it also weighs much less, so it keeps the weight down. The bumper itself is steel, no plastic on this bumper. You've got some little trim pieces that are plastic, but the bumper itself is all steel. And then this is the rest of the world spec bull bar that's on the front.
And the other thing about this bumper, it's so nice that it's modular, right?
Yeah.
So if you do end up damaging one part of it, you haven't got to replace, a quarter of the...
What a great example.
Yeah, simple things make a huge difference.
They do make a huge difference.
Yeah.
But just the fact that it's a steel bumper, like how many vehicles are sold with a steel front bumper, especially?
None. Well, certainly no cars I can think of. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe some heavy duty full size trucks, but that's about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So no other modifications to the front of the vehicle. If we come around to the side, so one of the things that I do like to do on a vehicle is increase the diameter of the tire while retaining essentially the same width of the tire. This is a slightly wider tire, but it's 34 inches in diameter and about 11.5 inches wide. The factory tire is 32 inches in diameter and about 10.5 inches wide. So because it is very close to the same width as the factory tire, it tucks up into the wheel well properly, even under full articulation. But now I have additional ground clearance under the differentials. And because it's on a 17-inch wheel, with the taller section height, when I air down the tire, I end up with a lot more flotation, which is very effective for soft conditions like sand, mud, snow. I also made a little bit of a nod towards appearance, and I changed the wheels from the factory steel wheels, which I'm a huge fan of, to these Nomad aluminum wheels. I think it's just because they look great.
They kind of look
They look great.
steelish, don't they? Yeah.
I think they look awesome. They are a little bit lighter, but the wheels are totally a nod to vanity. I just like how they look. But the factory steel wheels is what I use in the vehicle across Africa. Steel wheels are easier to repair in the field. You could hammer them out if you've got some rock damage, whereas a lot of times an aluminum wheel will crack and then need to be replaced.
It's kind of done, isn't it, then, at that point?
A lot of times.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
And then the front suspension is all stock. Stock springs, stock dampers and shocks.
So talk us through, because we're going to drop it down on the ramp in a couple of minutes, but talk us through the rear spring arrangement that you've got, because you're carrying a little bit more weight. So talk us through that.
Yeah, one of the great strengths of the Quartermaster is its payload. So it's got one of the highest payloads of any mid-size truck on the market. There are some packages from other manufacturers that get close, but this comes in at 1,825 pounds of payload. So it's suitable to actually carry a camper or a couple motorcycles in the back, or a heavy trailer that you're pulling with a lot of tongue weight. But I like the fact that I can actually haul this Scout camper in the back. The camper weighs 925 pounds. So you think you're starting with a camper that weighs just about 1,000, and then you've got 2 adults in the cab. I mean, I'm, 240 pounds with all my clothes on. So, and then, you have another passenger and maybe even some kids. You've got some luggage, you're carrying enough water, some recovery equipment,
up there, right?
Tools and everything else.
Yeah.
The cool thing is that I've weighed this truck with me in it, full of fuel, all the equipment that I need for the backcountry, the camper, and I'm still under gross vehicle weight, which is very difficult to do in a midsize. So that's the strength of the Quartermaster. I think consumers need to think of it like a heavy-duty midsize. So in the rear, it is coil sprung, 5-link, long travel, great for articulation, but coil springs inherently have trouble with variable loads. Whereas a leaf spring, as the spring starts to come under load, additional leaves get engaged, and it helps to support that load. So the spring rate that comes from the factory absolutely will take full payload, but it starts to squat a little bit in the rear. Normally when you use a pickup, you're like, I'm gonna go to Home Depot and I'm gonna load up with a bunch of plywood, and you don't care if it's squatting a little bit getting home. But with the camper, I want it to sit at the right height for ground clearance and
handling, stability,
departure angle, handling and all that. So I did change out the rear springs to iBox, which the factory springs are also iBox. But these have 500 pounds more payload capacity, and they're about 30 millimeters taller. But when this comes down off the lift, you'll see it just sits just right with the camper on it.
Cool. All right, let's get it down on the off the lift, and then we'll have a look at it at ground level. It's awesome, isn't it?
Great. Like, it's surprising how much, it's like driving around in a Mini Cooper. There's way more room inside than there should be.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's got a little stainless sink, and the table swings around and actually opens up into a much bigger table if you wanted it, which we never use it for that. But
is this an air conditioner?
It's an air conditioner and a heater. So it's a heat pump and an air conditioner. and I just set it up on the counter,
Right.
and I run the exhaust out through the window, and then I run it as a heat pump, so it keeps it pretty warm in here.
Most important thing, of course.
Yeah. You got a beer bottle opener. And it's such a simple vehicle. There's no plumbing in the whole vehicle. The water is stored in this Lifesaver jerry can, which is a UK company, by the way.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, they're a great company. And this, you turn this and it pressurizes
Oh, okay.
the tank. So then you have positive pressure.
Yeah, to push the last lot out.
That's right. And then you can, use in the sink.
Yeah.
And even stand outside and take a shower with it.
Right. So where's the waste out of this? It just pops
It just goes right out onto the ground. So you always have to use like biodegradable soap. You can, I do have a small hose kit if I'm in a campground that requires me to capture the gray water. So I can do that. But it's just a very simple overall vehicle. And right underneath your legs there is actually a composting toilet, a very small one.
Right.
So and that allows for, if you're in terrible weather or you're parked in a gas station parking lot and you just need to use the loo, right? So
you keep saying that funny word, the loo.
I know. I do it just for you.
That's for him.
Just for you.
Yeah, just
for you.
Yeah. And the bed then, it's just does any of this convert to a bed? I mean, obviously that's a bed up there.
This does convert into a bed.
Yeah.
And it's just about 6 feet long in here. So like one person could sleep in here if you had to keep the top down for some reason.
Like if you just had to quickly get in and...
Or an extreme weather situation or whatever. Or if you had a kid with you. So you could sleep a kid or two kind of on these cushions. And then this is a double bed. And it's just over 6 feet wide, which even though I'm 6'1", I'm a side sleeper. So I always, my legs are, I'm never stretched out. If I do stretch out, it's not quite wide enough, but.
And these sides are like a canvas type material. Yeah, which is breathable and stops a bit of wind and.
It does. And it's proven to be totally waterproof. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then it has a lithium ion battery system and charging and all that other good stuff.
So talk us through the, because obviously with the camper on, we don't have a tailgate. So I know you've fixed up something to fill in this gap here between where the tailgate would be and where the camper is and the tailgate would be in the bumper.
That's a great question. So the Quartermaster has a very tall cab height. So the camper needed to be spaced up to fit over the cab. So that gave me an opportunity to build a subframe. So I built a steel 2-inch tall subframe. And that also allowed me to put the attachment points for the camper wider.
Right.
The factory tie downs are just about at this point down the frame rails.
Right.
So they're fairly inboard. So in order to get really good triangulation of the camper, I built this subframe, and you can actually see some of the lunettes there in the side that secure the straps.
Awesome.
So now it's properly triangulated, and it spaces up the camper. And then because the tailgate's been removed, I built this. I had a metal brake,
This is alloy?
It is alloy. And then I just put some finishing elements on it just to keep the sharp edges down. And that fills in that gap.
So, and an awesome use of your...
So it makes for a nice little step.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the ultimate camper setup, I think.
It's really comfortable. It's very minimalist, comes in at just over 900 pounds. It's all composite sides with metal reinforced corners for, when you're driving through a trail, branches and stuff will come along these metal corners and protect the camper. But I've just become a huge fan of that brand. They're made in the USA. And shockingly, it's nearly the same color as the truck. And this is just how this camper comes.
Yeah, it wasn't planned that way, right?
It was not planned that way. It was just very serendipitous. So.
Yeah, Scout don't call it magic mushroom, I'm assuming.
No, but it's pretty close. Pretty close to magic mushroom.
Right. Okay, then, Scott. Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for
You're welcome.
being interviewed by me and showing us your vehicle. Yeah,
it's
been a pleasure. Yeah, it was a pleasure. I know
It's always a joy.
many times before, and I'm sure it'll be many times after. But yeah, nice to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Well, and you're doing a great job with this podcast.
All right,
so
thank you.
you for putting that together for the community.
Yeah.
Continuing to educate Grenadier owners on adventure.
Absolutely.
So
That's what it's all about.
I think it's awesome for you to be doing that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thanks for thanks for the kind words. Yeah. All right.
You're welcome. We appreciate you watching too.
Thanks, everybody. We'll speak to you next time.